YA nerds. Ugh. Hey YA nerds, my name is Kaye and I like to read a lot, and welcome to another episode of Kaye Reads a Lot. This week I want to talk to y'all about The Lost Coast by Amy Rose Capetta, also known as A.R. Capetta. This book, first of all, again, gorgeous cover. I'm pretty sure I discovered this book on Goodreads before I read their other book. If you guys remember, I reviewed it like a couple months ago. This is the same author as the person who did Sword in the Stars and Once and Future. But they also wrote it with their significant other, Corey McCarthy. So pretty great, pretty awesome. They are a non-binary author, and this whole book features a ton of queer characters. So there you go. Hence why I read it. It's 352 pages, and it was published May 14th in 2019. So pretty good. I have this feeling it wasn't a debut novel, though I thought it was at first. Not because of the way it was written, just because like up until Sword in the Stars and Once in the Future, I hadn't really heard about Amy Rose Capetta, and then I was like, oh, but this book is their other book, and then I found out that they also published like 3 more books, so I'm just behind on Amy Rose Capetta's books. Maybe I'll catch up now, who knows? Anyway, let's talk about it. Witches, redwood trees, magic, a missing girl, weird, mysterious things happening. Yeah, so this book has all that and more. In The Lost Coast, we follow Dani as she moves across the country, I think from Michigan to California, where the redwood trees are growing large. For some reason, she can't stop wandering. And it is this wandering that makes her mother decide that they need a change, and it makes Dani say, let's go to California, I feel a strong pull there. Well, it turns out that Dani has magic in her, and that's, you know, the move kind of helps her see that, and that's also where she meets the Greys. The Greys are a group of young girls, teenagers, who are all in a coven together, but they don't call it that. They don't really use a lot of, like, what we deem as, like, witch terms. They don't call themselves like the Coven or whatever. They're just the Greys. And they explain why that is. I don't want to say because it is like a big part of the book, and I'd rather like you guys read it and then figure it out for yourselves. But I really liked the Greys. They were a really interesting character group. And basically Dani gets kind of roped into their business because one of them has gone missing. And at first when you think that they've gone missing, you think like, oh, so like this girl's been kidnapped or this girl ran away. No. Her body is still present, but when you look her in the eyes, they describe her as having sea glass in her eyes. So she's gone. She's not here anymore. She's gone. Ooh. I don't know why I keep clearing my throat, but work through it. So it's up to, so basically the Greys do a spell where they call another witch to them to help them find their friend, whose name is Imogen, which is like one of my favorite names ever. And Dani shows up. And so then they have to figure out, okay, well, Dani must have an ability. I wonder what it is. And it turns out that Dani is a dowsing witch. So she can find anything. And now it's up to her to find Imogen. Really cool book. I listened to this book on audio too. I listened to a lot of books on audio, which I think actually helped me follow the plot of the book pretty well. It was read by 2 different women. This book doesn't just follow Dani. It also follows like a stack of bones, the redwood trees, the water in a lake, other characters. It's all told from third-person point of view. I thought it was a really interesting way to do third-person point of view by doing like not just on people characters, but on like objects and places and times. And like I think the wind is a character at one point too, although it could just be making that up. Who knows? Yeah, so that is all I have to say about the plot for this one. Alright, trope time. So there are a lot of tropes for this one. please be patient with me as I go through all of them. As always, the Tropes is a curated list that I've made with some other librarians as well as the internet, fan fiction, friends, hi Tessa, and it's just a list that I like to use to categorize books so that when I'm recommending books to people I can say, aha, I see you've liked this trope, well you might like this book because it has this trope too. So that is the basic on Tropes. I will put the real descriptions down below, but I'm going to try to relate the tropes that I've used to the actual book as I'm talking about them right here. So the first one we have is Beautiful First Lines. The first lines of the book like really dragged me in. You know, and by first lines I don't just mean like the first 3 sentences, I kind of mean like the first page. The first page kind of really sets the scene and really sets what we're looking for in this specific book. We also have Broken Family Units. Dani comes from a family where she doesn't have a father. I mean, she does, but her parents aren't married. It's complicated. All the other Greys come from strange living situations. And I know this sounds bad, this trope, but I just think it's different. I should probably change the phrasing from Broken Family Units to like, left of center family units. Oh, whatever. We also have Clueless Adults. This one's self-explanatory, and I feel like a lot of YA books kind of play into this trope very easily. Dumb protagonist is actually Prodigy in disguise. Dani thinks that she's stupid and she's not good at anything. And then she finds the Greys, and it turns out she's not stupid, she just thinks differently. We also have Found Family. That one's kind of explanatory. Dani meets the Greys, they kind of become her new family, they kind of become her new sisters, and even the Greys kind of have that relationship with each other as well. We also have love triangles. So Dani meets all of the girls and finds out that one of the girls, whose name is Rush, was dating Imogen, which is a little weird for this group because they, like I said, they do kind of consider each other like sisters, even though they're not related by blood. So the fact that 2 of them were dating is a little weird for the group. Not weird for me, I don't care about that. But like, anyway, Dani starts to fall for Rush. Rush is still kind of in love with Imogen, but Imogen is missing. It's a whole thing and it turns to a triangle. We also have New Kid. Dani's the new kid in the school because she just moved from like Michigan to California, and so there's like drama that has to do with her being new in town. We also have Overbearing Parents. Because of Dani's behavior, her mother is very strict and controlling with regards to her like going out at night, and she's like constantly texting her and messaging her, and it throws a whole wrench into the story, but in a good way. We also have strong/smart female protagonists. That one's also kind of self-explanatory since, you know, the female protagonist here is pretty smart. All of them are actually. Switching point of view, like I said, this book switches points of views between like a million different things. I think it lends itself to the story, though some other people might disagree. We also have Undiscovered Powers, again another self-explanatory one because obviously Dani has powers that she did not know existed until she meets the Greys. And then Unusual Names, one of the girls' names is Rush. Which, in her defense, she chose for herself because she didn't want to be called Rachel. Whatever. And the last one is Youths in Danger. Another self-explanatory one, and another one that applies to a lot of YA books. So that's it for the tropes. Let me know what you guys think. Reader likes, we're here for the reader likes, we're ready for the reader likes. I can sing, I didn't totally just stumble all over myself. Reader likes, reader likes, reader likes, reader likes. As always, I get my reader likes from Goodreads, from novelists, and from my own brain, so I'm going to give them to you in that order exactly. So from Goodreads, we have These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. I don't know much about this book aside from the fact that it has a coven in it and they're all teenagers, and it was really popular I think last year or the year before that when it was published. I saw it like all over the place. Goodreads was advertising the heck out of it, and so was like Twitter and a couple of other places, so it looks good, the cover's nice, and there you go, that's all I know about it. From novelists, we have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I read this series. I think I reviewed this series for y'all like a while ago. Maybe. Anyway, that one, I can kind of see the connection between that one and The Lost Coast. Specifically, it's, you know, it has an outsider coming into an established group of kids. There's magic involved, including like the kids discovering their own magical abilities. There's some queerness in it, so I can kind of understand that connection. So good job, novelist. And from myself, I have Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. I am currently reading this book. I have not finished it yet. And I think it's YA. I'm pretty sure it's YA, but the cover makes it look like an adult book. You'll see it. I'll put it on the screen. But this book I really love. It also kind of has a similar thing where we have, in this one, it's two covens, but there is also still like an outsider coming in. There's like some shady stuff going on with one of the witches, which kind of relates again to the Lost Coast. The main character is queer as hell. Another side character is queer as hell. A third side character is queer as hell. Everyone is gay in Witches of Ash and Ruin, which is the same as the Lost Coast. Everyone is gay in the Lost Coast. It's great. So there you go. Those are my 3 recs. Let me know if you've read any of them, or you know, if you've read the Lost Coast and you agree with my recommendations based off that, or if you have anything you want to recommend to me. I am constantly checking the comments to see what's going on. So all right, for this book, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Surprise! This book's laid out weird. The format is weird. I don't know how else to explain it, but I kind of loved that about it. Again, I mentioned it earlier in this review. A lot of people are going to hate that about this book. It can be confusing. I will not sugarcoat that. It could definitely be confusing to read this book if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. And I listened to it, so like think about it like that too. It's cool though. I think that makes the book interesting. That makes the book different. It's something I haven't read like this in a long time. And that's part of its charm for me. I really enjoyed that about this book. I also really loved all the characters. I loved that everybody was their own type of witch, and we kind of explored that. I loved that magic was just accepted in this reality. It's obviously in our world, but magic is just a thing, y'all. It's great. And I also really, really liked that the ending was something I kept guessing at for the whole book. As the book goes on, you're kind of wondering, people are dying as the book goes on, and Imogen is still missing. And so for a long time I was like, it's gotta be Imogen. She can't really be missing. She's probably just faking it. And I was not right. I was not wrong. I don't want to spoil the ending. I was shocked with what the ending actually was. Because usually with books, I mean, I've read almost 2,000 books at this rate. Usually with books, I kind of guess the ending like midway through. Didn't guess the ending on this one. But I liked that about it, so 10 out of 10. Anyway, so that's it for this book review. Subscribe, I guess. If I get 200 subscribers, I can do a giveaway of some free books, so hit the button, smash that like button. I don't know what YouTubers say anymore, haha. And I guess till next time, peace out, YA nerds.